Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. It's Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And if you're wondering, guess what? We got some breaking news here to cover. The Las Vegas Raiders have gone out and they have signed former Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Darius Harris. If you're wondering, Mitch, what exactly is Harris going to bring to the table for this Raiders team? I'm going to tell you everything that you possibly need to know in terms of what type of player he is, how he's going to impact training camp, whether or not he's going to make the 53-man roster, and ultimately what Raider fans can expect from this signing late tonight. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Alex is going to absolutely kill me. Had to leave dinner a little bit earlier tonight. Had a fun little congratulations thing planned for her. She's got a brand new job. But hey, the nation, I got you covered here. So to make sure you never miss any news, click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications because we're dropping some stuff here. So in terms of what type of player Harris is, let's first talk about his experience playing in the National Football League. He was a UDFA in 2019 at Middle Tennessee and realistically had to really fight and claw his way onto the Chiefs roster and didn't get any of that playing time in 2019. Then in 2020, was able to play in 4 games, did get 2 starts. I talked to our Chiefs host here at Chat Sports, and I said, give me a quick rundown of what type of player Harris is. And shout out to Harrison Graham, where he flat out told me he's mainly just a special teams player, but he's going to bring the hard work. He's going to bring the tenacity. He does have 2 Super Bowl rings, which obviously breaks all of our heart. But he's a player that from the moment that he has entered the NFL, when you're a UDFA, you got to work for every single thing that you've got. And when you get your playing opportunities, you need to be able to go and take advantage of those opportunities. Is he a good linebacker for NFL standards? No, he's probably slightly below average. But when he was given those opportunities to play, I thought he did a halfway decent job. Last season with the Chiefs, played in all 17 games. Again, mainly as special teams. He did get 4 starts, though. 4 starts, had a fumble recovery, and 43 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits. In terms of what exactly he's going to bring to this Raiders linebacker room, he's a better run stopper than he is in coverage. And in fact, if we're dropping him back into coverage in games, it's going to be a liability. And if I was an offensive coordinator, it's exactly who I would target. It would be Darius Harris. Now, my question to every single person that comes across this video here is, give me your one-word reaction. What is your one-word reaction right now down in the comments to the Raiders signing Darius Harris? My one word is competition. When I listen to McDaniels talk at a lot of these press conferences, the one word that I continually gets brought up is, I laugh at Gruden and Mayock. They used to always say versatility. Now McDaniels, he also says versatility a lot. But McDaniels has also used the word competition a bunch, and he most recently spoke about competition at the wide receiver room. 11 good wide receivers, 11 good cornerbacks, and they're all going to be battling it out. Well, I know for the nation for a long time, man, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. When is that linebacker signing going to happen? When are we going to add an LB to this roster that is going to compete for a spot on that 53-man roster? And that's exactly what Harris is going to do. He is going to compete for a roster spot when it is all said and done. I'm not sitting up here saying that he's going to make the roster because personally for me, I would have gone other routes, and there's better linebackers still on the free agent market than going out and adding Harris. And we've seen NFL teams do this before where you add somebody from your division rival, you try to get an extra leg up on the competition of your will, and maybe that's the route that they're going. But if anybody out there thinks like, all right, here we go, the Raiders, they finally signed a linebacker, and this is really going to change that room, you're wrong. Like, is the Raiders linebacker room a good one? No, I'd say it's one of the worst ones in the NFL, probably a bottom 5 unit. Is there some upside there? Sure, there's no doubt about it. I think Divine Diablo is a hell of a player. I think Robert Spillane is going to be a good leader. Amari Burney's an athletic player. Luke Masterson got some time last season. But after that, there's a lot of question marks, right? So now you go out, you add Harris, and one of the players that I mentioned as a loser for my Raiders training camp winners and losers video, and if you haven't already checked that out, please make sure you do so, was Darian Butler. A signing like Darius Harris is like Darian Butler to me. I mean, that's what you're getting. It's just Harris has more playing experience. Harris has 27 years old, and he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, and he knows what the Kansas City Chiefs have done in years past. Like, that's the type of player, if you want to think about, all right, what type of guy am I going to get? I think that's a really good comparison of the type of player that you're going to end up getting. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, we're going to go through some PFF rankings, because when you get a player that's, let's face it, not a household name and not even a household name, I bet you a lot of people have never even heard of Darius Harris before this video showed up. I saw it. It happened. I was like, all right, I got to get the nation a video. So in terms of the PFF grades last season, in 2022, he had a 64.4 overall grade, a run defense grade of 67.3, a pass rush grade of 71.4, and then the coverage grade of 55.7. This is not a player that you want to drop back into coverage. He's going to be a dude that, if he has to fill in for a spot here and there, that's okay. You do not want him to be a starter unless it is merely on special teams. Now, let's go look at what he did in 2021. And from the sample size standpoint, his 2022 season is really where you're going to see the most out of him. Last year, or 2021, according to the PFF, a 59.9 overall grade, a run defense grade of 60. Back in 2020, an overall grade of 28.8. And I'm not going to go into the other numbers because, as you can imagine, they're not very good, right? So for Harris, and anytime I see a signing, I always look for what exactly is the connection. And he was born January 17, 1996, Horn Lake, Mississippi. He's 6'2", he's 232 pounds, Middle Tennessee. I have to do a little bit more digging to see, is there a coaching connection there? Why exactly they brought him in? I do think it ultimately comes down to him adding that extra competitive edge, if you will, with this Raiders linebacker room. From a career standpoint, he's got 6 starts for his entire career, and he's got 44 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 PBUs, and a fumble recovery. I like this stat a lot. He's got 102.8 quarterback rating against him, and that's on 26 targets. Is it a good stat? No, but it does give you some type of element of what type of linebacker you're going to get in a coverage game. And the more and more that the NFL progresses in that direction, the more and more I want my linebackers to can actually cover some ground a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't really seem like that's going to be Darius Harris. Now, the next question that I do think continually needs to be brought up here is, you know, what was the connection? Is there a connection? But also, is he going to make the 53? And what are the other linebackers out there? I will admit that I am curious to see why they made the move, because today at Raiders training camp, Divine Diablo missed practice, and it was undisclosed unless I am getting new information. I haven't seen anything out there on Diablo. It was an undisclosed injury, and I'm not really going to say that Harris is going to take Diablo's spot. That is the last thing I'm saying. Diablo is safe. He's got the green dot. However, when you hop into your time machine, you go back and look at last week with Byron Young missing some time, right? What are the Raiders going to do? They're going to add the extra competition level. I think it's one of the reasons why they brought in Kyle Pecco. So now, I think that's what you're seeing here. A player of the Kyle Pecco status. We know Pecco, he was on this team last year. He's going to be a competitor. He's going to be in special teams. But because of the injury to Divine Diablo, they need to be able to go out and find another linebacker that is going to be able to get some of those extra reps out there for a lot of the players that are already here on this team. If you appreciated today's video, well then guess what? I appreciate you. You're going to be getting more content tomorrow here on the Raiders Report. And if you need any more news, rumors, hey man, I got you guys covered on social media. It's at Mitchell Renz 365. But I will be live tomorrow. I'll be breaking down more of the moves, and I think a better way to take up some of the time tomorrow even is talk about which linebackers are going to take the biggest impact here from this signing. All right, y'all, I want you to enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And again, the Las Vegas Raiders have signed former Chiefs linebacker Darius Harris. More details and more to come tomorrow live on the Raiders Report. So be tuned in. We'll probably go live at 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. If you're looking for more Raiders videos, come on, y'all. You already know it. Click this button right here. And if you want even more content, right here, I'm going to have a whole bunch of extra Raiders vids. And then if you need even more, in the words of Graph, content, you can click this button right here. That way you never miss anything going on around the silver and black.